body shop
Marin,
does.
okay,
we're using their spare labor, so I'm assuming, you know, that might make an ass out of you and me, but I'm pretty sure the Bay Area stats.
Well, what happens when you say I presume? Then you make
presume instead of assume?
Yeah. Welcome to the Best of Investing. I'm Edward Brown, your host. Here's our format. A bunch of guys sitting around a bar. There's no bar. Having drinks. There's no drinks either. But we're talking business, and you, the audience, are listening in. The Best of Investing is actually a radio show that has been around since August 2010, and it airs every Saturday on Fox News Radio, 9:10 a.m. at 1 p.m. Now, we're not a political show. We're strictly business, so everyone will be happy with that. Remember, I'm Edward Brown, wishing you the best of investing. Are you ready? Let's go. Okay, here we go. Did you catch the fly?
I caught him.
Okay, welcome. You're listening to the Best of Investing, sponsored by Pacific Trade Exchange. Let me try that again because let me do that over again. That's a little embarrassing. Okay, let's try this again. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Welcome. You're listening to the Best of Investing on News Talk 910, sponsored by Pacific Trade Exchange, your best in trade. Check them out at pactrade.org. This is the show where we present valuable information about real estate, the financial markets, and other business of the day. And you know our format. A few guys sitting around a bar having drinks without the drinks, talking business with you, the audience listening in. I'm your host, Edward Brown, and I'm pleased to have as my co-host Mark Hanf with Pacific Private Money, California's fastest growing pirate lender. And Mark...
Pirate lender.
Pirate. Is that right?
Pirate lender.
Are you a pirate lender?
No,
you're
I'm
not. Okay, I'm thumping over my words. Okay, you're a private lender.
Yes.
And Robert Shipp of RPM Mortgage. Our phone number is 888-912-1190. Write that number down, 888-912-1190. You're going to use that number to answer the trivia questions for 3 vacations given away during each commercial break. That's right, we're giving away 9 vacations during this show. The vacations are sponsored by Lighthouse Resort and Marina, located 1 hour northeast of San Francisco. The vacations are free. Their only request, a $75 cleaning fee to cover housekeeping expenses. Their website is lighthouse4fun.com. You can reach them at 916-777-5511. And today's trivia theme is science. She blinded me with science. Remember that? Okay. You guys are too young for that movie. All right. Our website, or are you too old for that movie?
Too old for that.
Our website is bestofinvesting.com. Check us out on Facebook and YouTube by typing Best of Investing Radio Show. And we're also on television, Comcast Channel 26, on Saturdays at noon and Sundays at 6 p.m. And don't forget to record our show on a website called dar.fm. Also, don't forget to go to World Wraps in Corte Madera and Santa Clara because they're still giving our listeners a free smoothie with purchase of a wrapper bowl if you mention this show, The Best of Investing. Go there for lunch today, best wraps in town. Also, Father's Day is tomorrow, and I have the perfect gift for the man who has everything. Go to Nothing Bundt Cakes in Corte Madera. Ask for Nick. He'll give you a 10% discount for mentioning the Best of Investing. They have the best bundt cakes around, bar none. And you can call them at 415-924-2500 for details. And today we have a special guest, Dawn Fitzpatrick, who's a real estate agent. And Dawn, welcome to the Best of Investing.
Thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome. And you know a little bit about real estate. What are you seeing going on in the market right now?
A lot of activity, a lot of inventory right now. People are, I think, getting out there and feeling more comfortable about getting pre-approved, and they're not as scared as the lending process. I think there was some fear out there for a while, and I think right now people, if they're positioned well, they see a lot of quality in the inventory, and I think there's people even putting multiple offers in. So it seems a little bit better.
The buyers are definitely out there, which is really cool. I know in the beginning of 2011, people were expecting the buyers to come out in spring, and they didn't. But here we are, spring of 2012, and the buyers are out. Are you seeing the same thing, Robert?
I don't know about Marin, but all the feedback I get in the East Bay and the city is 10 offers is hardly considered multiple offers. It's just amazing. I mean, most of the offers that people are dealing with are 10, 15 offers, and all of them over asking. These are assuming that the properties were priced right, but that's not been seen for years.
Yeah, I was gonna say, back in
Well,
'05 and '06 at the top of the market, what kind of multiple offers were you
Well,
guys
I
seeing?
dealt with one with 43.
So we're still
43
not,
offers.
so we're still not back to the 2005 numbers yet.
No, needless to say, the
Still
people
a
that
lot.
bought that house still are upside down, so.
Wow.
But that wasn't last year, certainly. It was like, we'd take one offer on a property that was listed, and now, most of those are closing, not falling out, or, so I think it's primarily by limited inventory, and the limited inventory is, there's still a lot of houses out there that people would like to get off of, but they're upside down and they don't want to start a short sale or to adversely affect their credit. I think there's a lot of people that are holding on, paying their mortgage, never made a late payment, still upside down, and have a feeling that within the next year or two or something, they'll be back up on top. And there's certainly some people who have, quote, given up and just going to move on and put their house on the market and sell it. And the short sale process is, I used to call it, as I'm a mortgage broker, and anytime there's a short sale, I said, no, we mean a long sale.
Yeah, because it takes a
Because it
long
would take
time,
about,
sure.
it could take 6 months. And now the banks are supposedly forced and regulated to make a response within 30 days. I haven't seen that exactly, but that's what they're supposedly supposed to do.
Well, Don, I've seen you've been shaking your head, and remember, we're doing this for radio, so you got to actually say words. I assume you agreed with most of the
I
stuff.
did. That's
okay.
true. That's
so,
true.
what else are you seeing out there?
I think that people, again, if they're positioned well, I think they're getting out more, which is why you see a lot more activity. I think the inventory also is proven to be very priced appropriately. There's a lot of advantage in the inventory. There's homes that are priced very well. I'm looking in Marin and Sonoma County, mostly southern Marin, even up to Petaluma. There's a lot of good homes priced well, and if you position yourself well, then you can really step in to a lender's office and feel very comfortable that you're going to be able to go through the process.
And when you say position yourself well, what do you mean?
I mean that you didn't overextend, you're qualified well, your job is secure, you feel comfortable getting into the market now, and you feel comfortable that even if you're going to step in and purchase something now, you're not going to be upside down in 12 months.
And are you seeing that people, like Robert was saying, some of these people are staying in their homes, they're paying their mortgage, but how long is it going to take for the market to go back up to where they're not upside down? What's your opinion?
Yeah, that wish we all had that crystal ball. It's difficult to
kidding.
say. Yeah, it's really difficult to say. It depends on when they purchase their home, what level they're in. If they're under 5 and they purchase their home, they're probably going to be in a better position than if they bought their home years ago in the 9s above, because that's really taken quite a hit. But it depends on.
My limited experience here. I mean, I have some clients that are selling their house on a short sale, and it is selling for about 60% of what it was appraised at the height.
Height.
Yeah.
There's no such word as height.
At the height.
There's no such word as height. I'm teasing you. Look it up in the dictionary, but I'm teasing you, Robert.
Well, the May numbers came out for this week, and what was interesting is what they're saying is unit sales are up in the Bay Area 26% year over year from last May, and I just think that's outstanding. And one of the things the article also mentioned is that a lot of those gains are in the $500,000 plus market, which I know really lagged a lot last year. So you mentioned, Robert, that there's a lack of inventory out there, but at least from the number standpoint, 26% jump in the number of unit sales year over year. That's driving, obviously. I mean, that's the reason why there's a lack of inventory, because what's out there is being snapped up, and now we're starting to see multiple offers. So it's kind of interesting. But then the article again continues, as all of these articles do, about what's happening in real estate is the pre-foreclosure, the shadow inventory. What are the banks doing? When are they going to release that stuff? How long are they going to let people stay in their homes without making their mortgage payments? And so,
Still 2 years?
That's not the record yet. I mean, it's close to 3 years from what I know, and that may not be the record.
Well, yeah, in like the East Coast states where they've got the judicial foreclosures, that's where I think that is the longest. I did
Sure.
see the numbers. I got an article with numbers from the West Coast states, and California now is at 275 days average. Nevada is at nearly 500 days.
And that's from the time that the actual
Notice of default.
notice of default goes to courthouse sale.
All right, guys, we're going to cut to our first, guys and gals, we're going to cut to our first commercial break. Before we do, though, we had last week, we asked the special trivia question where the winner was going to receive a 2-night stay at the Ritz-Carlton Laguna Niguel. Americans buy enough of this to wrap around the earth 5.5 times. What is it? Well, Johnny from San Jose knew the answer. Weed eater line.
Oh.
Isn't that amazing? You buy that much weed eater line?
Are you kidding me?
Isn't that amazing?
We had a winner for that.
It's crazy.
Wow.
And located between Los Angeles and San Diego, the Ritz-Carlton Laguna Niguel sits on a 150-foot bluff with panoramic whitewater views of the Pacific Ocean and 2 miles of sandy beach. The resort is a reimagined surfside retreat that awakens the guest's senses with its unique oceanfront setting and remarkable service heritage. As the premier destination for travelers who desire a playful approach to Southern California luxury, the resort features Raya, a restaurant concept by Chief Richard Sandoval, 180 Blue, an oceanfront lounge, and Jean-Michel Cousteau's Ambassadors of the Environment, offering a one-of-a-kind eco-adventure. Visit ritzcarlton.com/Laguna Niguel. I don't know if you guys have ever been there. I have, and it is a phenomenal place. And remember, the theme today is science. And here is our first commercial break, and here's our first trivia question. What is the E in E equals MC squared? The first 3 callers with the correct answer win a free 3-day, 2-night stay at the Lighthouse Resort. Their website is lighthouseforfun.com. Call 888-912-1190. That's 888-912-1190 to answer this question. What does the E stand for in E equals MC squared? Any Albert Einsteins around here?
Emily.
No.
Emily? Yeah, that's not it. E stands for Einstein, right? 888-912-1190. Make sure to include your name, email address, and speak slowly and spell out your information, especially your email address, 1 letter at a time. And we will be right back. Excellent.
Energy.
Robert, there is a word, hike. Edward
Hike?
Scissorhands in it.
Yeah. Where'd it go?
So do you,
Generally not a primary
When wet.
residence, but I can do
Instead of
purchase on
Sagittarius or
primary, but my loan
Capricorn
has to
or-
be for under a year.
Just remember to, if you're talking to Robert, just remember to kind of pivot like that if you can.
So Robert, are we going to talk about
Yeah.
Robert Stockton deal he just
Yeah,
did
I wanna
with
get
the
it. I
ridiculously
like that.
low interest
That's
rates?
awesome.
yeah, I would love to hear about
Yeah,
that.
okay.
Okay, here we go. Welcome back to the Best of Investing. I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Mark Hoff of Pacific Private Money, Robert Schiff of RPM Mortgage, and our special guest, Dawn Fitzpatrick. And when we cut to the first commercial break, we asked this trivia question. What is the, and it's the theme is science. What is the E in E equals MC squared? Dawn, I heard you give the answer.
It's true, energy.
Energy, that is correct. You must be a science major. Okay, Robert, you had told us a pretty fascinating story off air. Give us that story, what's going on?
I was at a seminar the other day, and one of the processors for my company is a young lady, and she just made her first real estate purchase as an investment, and she did it all on her own. She went to the computer, got to Redfin, and looked up some property in Stockton, and she ended up buying 4 units in Stockton. And after her down payment, which was probably $30,000, she is renting out the property. It's already been rented, and it's a 4-plex, and one of the units' rents pays her mortgage, her taxes, and her insurance. And the other 3 go into her pocket to reimburse her for her down
That's
payment.
amazing.
So I figured even with vacancies and with the cash flow, the cash on cash for her down payment is something like 50%.
It's funny because you think, gee, she's cash flowing positive, and she could be 75% vacant.
Yeah,
That's
and
incredible.
she said she and her fiance, who's a fireman, he's not afraid of going into the places to fix up. So they're going to be buying places in Oakland and some of the places that are really distressed, and they both said that the people living there are great tenants. They just want to be left alone. They want to pay the rent on time, and it's not a problem. And they're expecting to have maybe 25% vacancy, which is not turning out to be the case.
Yeah.
So
What are the? How much are the rents?
the rents are like 6 1/4, I think, something like that.
So this is a fourplex in Stockton.
Just a cookie cutter fourplex.
Do you know what she paid for it?
Something like $140,000.
See,
And
that's
I
just
asked her, I
astounding.
said, well,
That is
you're working here and you guys live in the East Bay. Why wouldn't you go to even the canal area in San Rafael or Petaluma or Santa Rosa?
Probably
She
can't get the
said,
same
figures
deal.
aren't there.
Yeah.
Right, that's it, that's exactly
So
right.
they're looking in Stockton, maybe Vallejo, some parts of Oakland.
What kind of interest rate you think she got?
On that kind of loan, that's 1 to 4 units, a Fannie Freddie loan, probably 4%, maybe in the low 4s.
Wow.
That's
30-year
fantastic.
fix, a 30-year fix for 4 units in the low 4s.
Now, of course, you had to qualify for that, for the
Yeah,
for
they're
conventional
both-
investor loan.
Yeah, they both are working and
Yeah.
gainfully employed, and, when you qualify for an investor loan, the bank's gonna look at your housing costs besides the investment and what kind of ratio that is to your income, and then they look at the property you're buying, and they'll give you credit for 75% of the rent, and they'll balance that against the mortgage payment, taxes, and insurance.
And who was the seller? I mean, just
I
an
think it was-
individual?
I
or
don't
was it
know, I don't
bank?
know if it was bank-owned or an individual or not.
Yeah, because you'd think that whoever sold it would have thought the same
Probably
thing.
bank-owned.
Well,
Probably.
it was either bank-owned or it was a short sale, someone was upside down. They certainly weren't getting positive cash flow, but what I just found astounding is that they were able to go on to Redfin. You know, here people are complaining, I hear it all the time, oh, there's hardly any inventory out there, but it's just not true. I mean, if you're tenacious and you study the market and you make offers, I mean, you gotta step up to the plate and swing the bat. Nothing's gonna happen.
This woman has a full-time job as a processor, and believe me, I know that's a really time-consuming and energy-consuming job. And yet here she is doing this on her spare time, and really researching it, being thorough, and not being afraid. And
Well, Dawn, you've been a little too quiet. You have
No,
any
I'm just
comment?
listening to
Just
all of
listening?
this. No,
Any
it's
any
great.
comments on it?
The situation in Lodi, I've got a group of people who are looking exactly for what you're speaking of. And they started in Marin, started in Sonoma County, found out the same thing. The numbers just don't work. So now we're going up